Batch filming. Okay, so this is video number 4 of my batch film, and I'm going to be talking about She Came to Slay by Dr. Erica Armstrong Dunbar. All right, so I loved this book. The end. Just kidding. Okay, I loved this book. This is The Life and Times of Harriet Tubman. I don't even know where I saw this book. I think it was in an online, it was in a very popular magazine, but it was like an online, a digital version of the magazine. And as you may or may not know, Harriet Tubman for me is a superhero and an Afrofuturist, because what drove her to do everything that she did was her vision of an America where she and her people would be free. I read this, She Came to Slay, after watching the Harriet movie with Cynthia Erivo. I love the song Stand Up, by the way. And I'm glad that I watched the movie first and then I saw this. I mean, I feel like the criticisms of the movie were all very, very fair. But when I read this, I was able to actually go back to scenes in the movie, and I didn't expect there to be such a strong correlation between the book and the movie. This isn't the book of the movie, but I think it's a credit to Dr. Dunbar's research and her work that she was really able to pick some of the more unknown stories about Harriet Tubman, and also some of the more poignant moments in her life that that we don't hear about as often, but that we should. So what I loved about this book was that, number one, it was accessible. It is a history book for people who are not ghost reader. Like people who will not sit down and read like a 2,000, tiny print book about history, right? Because I can't, I won't, but I'll read this. This is a history book with large print, right? And big subsections and collage style art. This is her taking her parents north. And I really enjoyed it. It was a quick read for me, but what really struck me about this book was the intimacy with which Dr. Dunbar described Harriet Tubman's passions, her fears, her experiences of betrayal, her dogged, just commitment to freedom. It was wonderful. Dr. Dunbar doesn't step back from the hate that Harriet Tubman had to deal with. She talks about the sexism. She talks about a lot of different things that you don't usually hear people talk about when they talk about Harriet Tubman. Usually when people talk about Harriet Tubman, it's like, oh, she brought this many enslaved Africans from southern plantations to northern plantations, or from plantations to Canada and to freedom, or to Philadelphia or whatnot. Like you hear those kinds of stories, but you don't really hear much about when she led a regiment in the Civil War. You don't hear a lot about her relationship with the suffragists. You don't hear a lot about what happened to her when she came to Canada, and like what it meant for her to be in a very, very, very cold country with people who were even colder, right? Like it gave us more of the story and more of the texture, and did so in a way that was so accessible. And I remember one of my professors in school telling me that if you can explain the law to a 5-year-old, that's when you know you've really got it. It's not about being able to explain something to somebody who already understands, but to be able to explain somebody who doesn't have the pre-knowledge to really appreciate what you're talking about, somebody that needs to be taught. If you can do that, then you know that you know it, right? And so for somebody who is a historian to write a popular book, and I mean popular in terms of like the populace, not necessarily that it's super popular, but it was a popular book that can be engaged with by anybody, right? I don't read a lot of history. I think that is incredible. I think that this book is a book that you should read if you want to learn more about Harriet Tubman, but also if you want to learn more about the times that she was alive in. And if you want to have a more nuanced understanding about Harriet Tubman, her context, her relationships, her love for her family, what it actually meant. Like Dr. Dunbar talks about what it meant to make that trip, and she actually makes comparisons, so you can actually imagine, like, whoa, it would have taken her this many days or weeks or months to travel on foot, like without shoes, right? Like what did this actually mean for her to do this? So after reading this and then after watching the movie, I was just like, Harriet Tubman is going on my ancestor altar. Like, she represents so many amazing things, and I'm so grateful. Even though I don't have an African American history, the story of Harriet Tubman is one of the most remarkable stories I've ever heard in my life, and I felt that way ever since I was a child. And I can't stop learning more about her, and I'm so glad that Dr. Dunbar decided to write this book, because I found it edifying, entertaining, delicate and intimate, and a fabulous resource for this historical moment. That's my review. That's what I gotta say. Tommy's got her headphones on. So here we are. It's just me and you. So if you have watched this all the way to the end, I am going to ask you to include in your comments an emoji of, or an icon of something that makes you think of Harriet Tubman. That's what I'm going to ask you to do. And then I am going to shout out the final booktuber for the end of this particular series, because I'm finished with my back list reviews of Offense Moduka. So her name is Offense Moduka, and as you know, I have been trying to shout out South African booktubers. I don't know. Yep, she is a South African booktuber. Yes, she is. So yes, so I would ask you, I'm new to her channel, so I wouldn't be able to provide you with a lot of feedback. But what I will say is that over the past week or so, I've started to watch more South African booktubers. And where is she at in terms of her, of Tensei? I know that I'm saying her name incorrectly, but Moduka. She's at 612 subscribers as of today. And just looking at her, yeah, I don't think that I've read any of the books that she has read, so that's pretty cool. I'll be learning more about her interests. And she also has a video about natural hair products, and she should, because from what I can see, her hair is just rich and lovely. So yes, I definitely would ask you to check out her channel. If you like what you see, definitely subscribe, give her support. We were all started at our channels, and I know that I certainly appreciated when people just said, you know, check out this person. I don't know exactly what she does on her channel, but go and explore, right? So let's definitely do that. All right, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember to read with purpose, and then tell me about it. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.